2024.
Sorry, Rich, I didn't smoke 2 packs today.
Yeah, I know. That's from last night.
Little place next to the moguls.
Okay. Mayor, the next item on the agenda is the public portion. Is there a motion to open to the public?
Make that motion.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak? Please come forward and state your name for the record.
Good evening. I'm Simi Payne. I live at 983 Ridge Road in South Brunswick. Thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. I'd like to comment on the ordinance that you're considering at its first reading tonight for an amendment to the redevelopment plan for the former Princeton Nurseries land. In particular, I'll speak to 2 changes in the plan that will affect Mapleton Ave and Ridge Road. Section 410 of this amendment is modified to read, "No public vehicular access from Ridge Road or Mapleton Ave is permitted." This changes the absolute prohibition of vehicle access onto Ridge Road into a permission. What public vehicular access is intended to mean is unclear. If it is intended to be read with the next change that I will comment on, that should be made clear, and it should be changed to emergency vehicle access only. A second amendment to section 4.13 of the redevelopment plan adds the words, "necessary utility crossings, approved walking paths, and emergency access" to the permitted uses of the lot at 987 1001 Ridge Road that was formerly zoned residential. Throughout this process, that lot was exclusively designated for stormwater management. This new amendment authorizes unspecified utility infrastructure and a road. That is inconsistent with statements that this council has made to the community that there would be no access from the site to Ridge Road. We're concerned that this proposal for an emergency access and additional utilities will incrementally industrialize Ridge Road. The community has been clear in its statements that this historic route, a main entrance to the village of Kingston, should retain its rural appearance. We're also concerned that once there is a road, it is likely to be used by trucks and cars for convenience as well as for emergencies, increasing traffic onto Ridge Road. If the access road is located at the northeast corner of the lot of 987 to 1001 Ridge Road, it will contribute to a very dangerous traffic situation. That is right at the curve where there are frequent, quite serious traffic accidents. We respectfully request that no road access of any kind be allowed onto Ridge Road or Mapleton. And, as we have in the past, we request that the Township Council act with greater transparency in the future by affirmatively informing the community of land use changes like this that will affect us in very serious ways. We learned of this only today, and other members of the community who would have come to speak to you tonight were unable to because they did not have adequate notice. Thank you for your time and attention. And if I may,
For the record, thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Your commentary relative to access to Mapleton Road, Ridge Road, and the detention basin area, to my recollection, are spot on. And so, chatting with Manager Bidlack here, it's at least it's my intention to support a redevelopment plan that restricts access to Mapleton and Ridge, consistent with our previous public statements. Mr. Smith was here, you were here, so you heard us. And so, consistent with our previous public statements, I will table it tonight and amend it and bring it back, or we'll move forward with those amendments. But yeah, we did make a commitment not to put new traffic onto those roads. Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Mark Smith. I live at 979 Ridge Road, and I will second what Simi Payne just said. So I'm also speaking about the same adoption of the ordinance, amending the zone to allow use of data centres at this site. So we border this property. We believe that the zoning use of data centres is inconsistent with the township's master plan. The master plan does not call for this intense development, but seeks to maintain natural and historic areas. The Princeton Nursery site is part of the historic district and feeds directly into the natural and preserved areas and borders and drains to multiple waterways and wetlands. The state plan also provides that our objective should be to protect the natural resources and reverse the current trend of spoil. I object because the ordinance is spot zoning. It is designed to protect the developer in the event that a redevelopment ordinance and plan is overturned by court. So the proposed use of the data centres is a highly intensely industrial use, which is contrary to the master plan's designation for this site for low intensity activities, as well as the agricultural use that has prevailed on this property for more than a century. The data centres will potentially occupy virtually all of the site with industrial noise emissions from massive cooling units and systems, huge generators, at least 20, and amongst many other features that are associated with these things, like their own power stations. In addition, the new proposed use is inconsistent with the office and other uses in the master plan for this property that are focused on community-based economic activities or activities incidental to the academic community in the vicinity. Further, an entire ecosystem has evolved on this property over the past 100 years that will be destroyed if this is newly constructed. In addition to the presence of such massive structures directly behind homes that will impact the quality of life that we and our neighbours enjoy in this district, will negatively impact the value of our homes amongst various other reasons. Finally, the loss of a beautiful open space with meadows, woods, and natural features, and historic natural features such as the windrows that are 80 to 100 years old will be lost to our community. So for these reasons, my wife and I respectfully object to the adoption of this new zoning use. That's that one. I've also got another statement regarding, you've got on the agenda here, for the redevelopment plan, you've got an update on it or something like that, which I don't really know what the updates are or the changes that have been made. So I'm pretty much going to read a similar statement that I made in the earlier meeting about this sort of subject on the redevelopment plan for the same area that essentially we're, that I'm talking about, the former Princeton Nursery site. So we object to this proposal and have filed a lawsuit challenging the redevelopment design. As before, it's the same docket, MID L 002-965-24, filed in Middlesex County. Our lawyer is preparing, well, we've already served. So that complaint names WRV Nurseries South Brunswick owner, LLC, owner of the property, as co-defendant along with the township. So we're objecting to this redevelopment designation and the redevelopment plan that is under consideration tonight, again, because the site is capable of being developed under its existing zoning that allows for hotels, offices, laboratories, light manufacturing, farming, and residential uses, all of which can be economically and effectively used and exploited for this site. It can also be used for its traditional farming purposes and has, to our knowledge, been used for farming for at least the last 15 years. We believe there's no legal basis to redesignate this property for redevelopment. If this site is undeveloped, it is because it has been intentionally left undeveloped by its prior owner, Princeton University, and its current owner. Its current owner is seeking the redevelopment designation and the redevelopment plan in order to evade current zoning that does not allow for data centers or warehouses or any other project that is proposed for this site. This data center proposal will be devastating for this site that is largely in a natural state after more than 100 years of farming and also adjoins preserved natural areas and parklands. So to allow for data centers development on this site by a redevelopment plan will evade the zoning code and will evade the need for a use variance hearing by the owner. A variance hearing is a difficult process, and if this redevelopment plan goes forward, both the zoning code, burden of rezoning, and the burden of variance will all be evaded by the township and the landowner. We object to this redevelopment plan as it is unnecessary and an evasion and abuse of the law to allow for a noxious data center project that will destroy this site, damage the local ecology, ruin the lifestyles of the many residents adjacent to this site, and severely burden the community. We will oppose this project, the redevelopment plan, and request that any action on this property take place only through the conventional rezoning or a use variance application by the owner. Finally, we object to the redevelopment plan and designation because it is, in reality, a rezoning of the property without either going through the ordinary rezoning process or by freeing the developer from the very difficult task of obtaining the use variances it would need, including but not limited to the changes in the zone for data centers and various other uses that are not currently in the zoning code for this property. Thank you. So, see what you can do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the public?
Good evening. Peter Wolfson from Dave Pitney here on behalf of WRV Nurseries. Just for context, I know you don't need to be reminded, South Brunswick has been trying to develop this property for over 20 years. You had a general development plan in place. You already have a redevelopment plan that you've adopted. So we would respectfully request that you introduce it. The issue regarding access on the roads can be dealt with at the public hearing or between now and the public hearing, but respectfully, we would request that it be introduced. In terms of the rezoning ordinance, which is on for a hearing tonight, again, you've been trying to make something happen here. Our client has made a significant investment. The issues that have been raised are properly before the planning board as part of the site plan application. They are not part of the rezoning effort per se. And I would also suggest that Princeton University is not a typical landowner and thus effectively is the reason that this property was never developed as South Brunswick has always sought to have it done. So respectfully, we would ask that you introduce the amended redevelopment plan ordinance and that you act affirmatively at the public hearing for the rezoning.
Yeah, I'll thank you for your comments. I'll modestly disagree about the university. Joseph and I were around at the time. The fellow who was homeschooling the university's efforts back then, and that's why the property has a bespoke zone from back then. David Knights, he's passed
Yes.
away since then, but they were pretty savvy customers in my memory, and they worked with Mayor Gambatese, who's also passed away since then, and 3 town managers ago, Matt Watkins, for that zone. So you're correct. This property has been kicking around with, and the uses that Mr. Smith relate are pretty robust uses that have been in the zone for 20-plus years. So it's been something that has been there in place for a long time. But the university is not, they're not babes in the wood. So we worked with them at that time, and we're continuing to work with the group that is has custody of the property presently. That's it.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would wish to speak?
Seeing none, motion to close the public session.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Mayor, the next item is the discussions. We have 4 items under the discussions. The first is proposed rec fees increases.
Yep, Mayor and Council, if you look at your agenda packet, there is a memorandum from the rec director asking us to take a look at our rec fees that we assess, and there is recommendations in there from her for us to consider and discuss.
Having taken a look at it, I see nothing that is beyond the pale. It does increase fees for non-residents who participate in programs, and I think that's appropriate to have a tiered approach for the use of facility and infrastructure that taxpayers in South Brunswick have supported.
I agree. And this is something I think we just need to move forward, you know?
Yeah, I just have one question. If you can ask the director, because we're raising fees for residential and non-residential, and it's obviously the fees need to be increased. I'd just like to know, was there a cost comparison done, expenses versus income, and will this satisfy that need?
Okay.
Because, I mean, we haven't done it in a long time. I don't want to be in a situation where 6 months from now, we realize we should have done more or less or whatever. So I'm all for this, but I'd just like to have a cost comparison, what our expenses are now, what our income is, and why, you know, what's the relationship between those 2 factors.
Okay.
Thank you.
The next item, Mayor, is the SB CDC request for AH funds.
Okay. Yeah, this is a request from SBCDC for affordable housing funds for, that'll allow them to do some rehabilitation in their projects at Charleston Place, number 1, and also that would be a request of $45,000, and then also they do need to do some extensive repairs at Oakwoods here on 522. These funds, we haven't been anticipating these through our housing plan. If council does commit these funds to Oakwoods and Charleston, it will permit us to be we'll be receiving credits in our 3rd and 4th round plans of our affordable housing mandate. So these monies would come directly from the trust fund for the affordable housing. And like I said, it will allow us to get credits and be in compliance with rounds 3 and 4 of affordable housing through rehabilitation.
Makes complete sense.
No, it does.
We've already committed in the
We're
4th plan,
committed
so we
to
have
it,
to.
and
so-
the funds are there
Yep.
in the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, so I think we need just to move this forward.
Agreed.
Okay, Mayor, the next item is an ordinance accepting streets as public streets in the Point of Woods major subdivision.
Housekeeping, right?
Yeah.
We'll move
The
that
only thing I
forward.
asked, Mayor, is Point of Woods realize, it looks like they're going to be subject to Title 39. I'm going to make sure they realize that they are. It's typically, we have some something from the HOA indicating that.
Yeah, that's standard.
No, I know it's that, I just want to make sure they're aware that that's going to happen.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, but other than that, I'm good.
I think they would like voice protection. That just says me out loud.
Mayor, the next item is the best practice checklist discussion.
Yeah,
Bid like.
yeah, sure. This one is, we have to do this every year. We have to file a best practice checklist. We're required to put this on a council agenda and just have the best council, are you okay with this checklist? We do need to do this in order to receive our state aid, the money from the state every year. So,
Yep.
if there's any questions,
No,
okay.
gotta move that forward.
Okay, the next item is the manager's report.
Okay,
Bid like show.
for the first 5 minutes anyway. Okay, the upcoming here, of course, as everyone knows, Monday, November 11th is Veterans Day. The municipal offices will be closed that day. There will be a ceremony here at the municipal complex that the American Legion Post 401 and the Veteran Affairs Wars Post 911 have every year. That ceremony will be at 11 a.m. here in front of the municipal complex. All are invited to attend that ceremony. The same day preceding that day, on Veterans Day, we will be having we thought we were done, but we've added one additional street dedication this year for a veteran of the Marine Corps, Veteran Buddy Thomas. I know many people in town know Buddy.
Absolutely.
That dedication will take place at Hillside and New Road in Monmouth Junction, and we're going to do that at 10 o'clock before the Veterans Day ceremony, so all are welcome to attend that as well. In addition, on Saturday, November 16th, at the Municipal Public Works Garage here from 9 to 12 p.m., there will be a free rabies clinic conducted for dogs and cats. So that information is on the Township website. People can attend that on November 16th at the Public Works Garage. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Mayor, the next item is the consent agenda. If there's no objection, we can move items 1, 2 through 11 to the next scheduled regular meeting.
Works for me.
Okay.
Actually, excuse me, Madam Clerk, I'd like to pull number 8.
Number
Right.
8.
Because CME, excuse me, had said that Public Works agreed with everything that they said, but I don't have a letter from Public Works saying, excuse me, stating that they agreed with it. So I'd just like to see something from Public Works, a little memorandum or something in writing stating that they're okay, and then we can move that forward.
Okay.
Sorry.
Mayor, the next item on the agenda is the items for action. We have one ordinance for first reading. The ordinance is 2024-29, adopting the amended redevelopment plan, Block 99, lots 3.213, 8.041, and 14.04 for 119 Mapleton Road, 987 through 1001 Ridge Road, and 4405 US Route 1 and 4405 US Route 1. Block 99, lots 3.213, 8.041, and 14.04.
Make a motion to table this for our next work session.
Is there a second?
Second. I'll second it.
Okay. And roll call. Mr. Bierman?
Yes.
Mr. Camerata?
Yes.
Ms. Grover?
Yes.
Ms. Hockman?
Yes.
And Mr. Carley?
No.
We got it.
Okay.
Now, the purpose of the reintroduction, as I understand it, we had introduced this and moved it forward. I'd like to see this moved with the amendments that we talked about. But once upon a time in America, like I said it then, the planning board didn't get a quorum, so they hadn't acted on this ordinance, and we had passed it in advance of them, so it had to go back, and it still has to go back to the planning So this was just a bit of mechanics tonight.
Yeah.
But I accept the decision of the board.
Okay, this item will be tabled to the next regular meeting. The next item is ordinances for second reading, which we have two ordinances. The first ordinance is 2024-21, amending and supplementing Chapter 62 Land Use, Article 4 Zoning, Division 3 Districts, Subdivision 29 OC Office Corporate District. Mayor, this was a continuation of a public hearing, so if we could have a motion to continue the public hearing on this?
Motion made.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on ordinance 2024-21?
Seeing none, motion to close the public portion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Is there a motion to adopt ordinance 2024-21?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call. Mr. Bierman?
Yes.
Mr. Camerata?
Yes.
Ms. Grover?
Yes.
Ms. Hockman?
Yes.
Mr. Carley?
Yes.
The next ordinance is 2024-28. This is amending and supplementing Chapter 62 Land Use of the Code of the Township of South Brunswick, establishing a mandatory affordable housing set-aside. Is there a motion to open to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on ordinance 2024-28?
Seeing or hearing none, motion to close the public portion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
What's I'd like, just so we're not rushed through things, we can explain to the public a little bit. What this does is it sets into place in the local ordinance what is now state law. 1 in every 5 housing units is required to be set aside on, if there is a development, set aside on the development as affordable. And so that's what this does. It's consistent with state law.
Okay, is there a motion to adopt ordinance 2024-28?
Yes, motion to adopt.
Second.
Roll call. Mr. Bierman?
Yes.
Mr. Camerata?
Yes.
Ms. Grover?
Yes.
Ms. Hockman?
Yes.
And Mr. Carley?
Yes.
Okay. Mayor, before we proceed to the resolutions, I would just want to make you aware that item number 6, there was a revision to the title extending the third. It was revised to fourth quarter 2024 tax bill grace period. Nothing in the body was revised, just the title. And if there is no objection, if we could take items 1 through 11? Or
As it is our-
would you like to move,
Yeah, I'd like
to pull an
hold,
item?
pull number 7 and number 10, just to bring some more attention to it, as they are well-deserved to do so.
If we can have a motion to adopt items 1 through 6, 8 through 9, and 11.
Yes, motion made.
Second.
Roll call. Mr. Bierman?
Yes.
Mr. Camerata?
Yes.
Ms. Grover?
Yes.
Ms. Hockman?
Yes.
And Mr. Carley?
Yes.
And we pulled number 7, which is wishing Lieutenant Robert Giardulo success in his retirement.
You want to read it?
No, good.
Either either.
No, I'm going to know if the young woman to my right wanted to read it. If not, I'll read it. Okay. Wishing Lieutenant Robert Giardulo success in his retirement, whereas Lieutenant Robert Giardulo is employed by South Brunswick Township Police Department, and whereas Lieutenant Giardulo retired on will retire on December 1st, 2024, after 25 years of dedicated service to the community and residents of South Brunswick. And whereas Lieutenant Giardulo is very knowledgeable and experienced in the areas for which he is responsible and dedicated his career to serving the public. And whereas Lieutenant Giardulo served at the department most recently as lieutenant in the patrol division and previously served as a sergeant in the patrol division, as officer patrol division, and as a school resource officer detective. He was previously assigned as a firearms instructor, evidence technician, domestic violence liaison, which he did a great job at, member of the emergency response team, physical fitness coordinator, and member of the honor guard. He holds a master's degree from California University of Pennsylvania. During his career, Lieutenant Giardulo received numerous commendations awards, including those for firearm proficiency, physical fitness, and honorable service. Lieutenant Giardulo served on numerous committees during his career. And whereas Lieutenant Giardulo will be missed for his abilities, knowledge, and professionalism during his 25 years of service to South Brunswick Township. And whereas the mayor and council would like to thank Lieutenant Giardulo for his dedicated service to South Brunswick Township. Now therefore be resolved on this 6th day of November, this 6th day of, where are we here?
November.
Yeah, but it says December.
I know.
It's not the 6th day either.
I know.
Resolved this day by the Township Council,
Because
the
that's when he
Township of South
retires. I
Brunswick,
know.
County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, that we extend to Lieutenant Robert Giardulo the Township's best wishes for health, happiness, and success in his future endeavors. And I'll make a motion to move that forward.
I'll second.
Roll call, Mr. Bierman.
Yes.
Mr. Camerata.
Yes.
Ms. Grover.
Yes.
Ms. Hockman.
Yes.
And Mr. Carley.
Yes.
The next item that was pulled was a resolution recognizing Buddy Thomas for his service to our country, ensuring freedom for all.
Deputy Mayor?
No, I can't read
I
it.
can read it.
I
I
can't.
have it.
Okay, go ahead.
Whereas the Township of South Brunswick Veteran Street Sign Program allows township residents who were wartime veterans to be recognized by adding their name on a secondary street to an existing municipal road. And whereas by adding names of local wartime veterans to public street signs, we hope to promote awareness, public awareness of these individuals and show our appreciation for their outstanding contributions and service to our country as a member of the United States Armed Forces. And whereas eligible military candidates for this honor include honorably discharged veterans having served in military departments as defined under Department of Defense, which include departments of the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, and whereas wartime veterans are individuals who served in active military forces during a period of armed conflict or who received the Armed Forces Expeditionary or other campaign service medals during an emergency condition, including those who died in the line of duty in the active military forces. And whereas Buddy E. Thomas has been selected to be recognized in the Veteran Street Sign Program, and whereas Buddy E. Thomas was born in Charleston, West Virginia on July 21st, 1938. Buddy settled in South Brunswick where he met his wife, Christine. He remained here his entire adult life as he and Christine raised their 3 children. Buddy's oldest son, Joseph, also served in the Marines. And whereas Buddy E. Thomas enlisted in the U.S. Marine Corps in 1959 during the Vietnam War, he was assigned to the 1st Battalion, 9th Marines, which was part of the 2nd Marine Division, which was named the Walking Dead, due to the unit having sustained especially high casualty rates. Buddy was stationed in Da Nang, where he achieved the rank of sergeant, and whereas Buddy E. Thomas served in the United States Marine Corps until his honorable discharge in 1965, he earned a Purple Heart for sacrificing after being wounded during battle. In 2019, Buddy was honored with the South Brunswick Living Local Legend Award. He has been a vocal advocate for helping to get the POW flag installed at the township buildings and public schools. He continues to help the Marines during the holidays with their Toys for Tots fundraiser. Now, therefore, we, the Township Council and Mayor, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, do hereby recognize Buddy E. Thomas for his distinguished service to our country, ensuring freedom for all. And I would like to say I don't know a better person who has done as much as Buddy for the community.
Is there a motion to adopt this resolution?
Motion to adopt.
I'll second.
Roll call, Mr. Bierman?
Yes.
Mr. Camerata?
Yes.
Ms. Grover?
Yes.
Ms. Hoffman?
Yes.
Mr. Cartley?
Yes.
Okay, we are now at the end of the meeting. If we could have a joint motion to go into executive session and adjourn immediately after.
I'll make a motion that we go into executive session, and when done, we will be leaving.
Is there a second?
I'll second that, sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.